So while we're on the subject of finances, how much sort of would be a minimum you would need before you got to start thinking about whether you'd like to invest in property? So what sort of lump sum are you looking at money wise?
Okay, so it does depend on what sort of project or what sort of property you're going to buy, what your long-term aim is for that property, and where in the country you're buying it. So if you're buying property in the north, it's going to be very much cheaper than here. Generally, the deposit that you need for property investment or a buy-to-let, for example, would be between 25 and 30%, which is much higher than if you're buying your own home. You know, and it takes a bit of a hit. And we remortgaged our own house. We took equity out of our house for our first property that we bought. So that helped us along the way. But some people, you know, if they're doing a refurbishment project, they may just borrow the money, and that can be from friends, from family, from close acquaintances, you know, and some people, you know, or they may have inherited money that they might use for that sort of thing. And then if you're refurbishing a property, so you might be using a bridging loan rather than a mortgage. And I didn't know anything about that. I only ever knew about mortgages. So there are things called bridging loans. So you borrow the money when a property generally isn't mortgageable, and there are certain things in a property or that a property might not have that mean you can't mortgage it. So if it hasn't got a kitchen, if it hasn't got a bathroom, you know, if it's an old thing that needs a lot of work doing on it, you won't get a mortgage on it generally. So if you're borrowing the money for that, you will be paying an interest rate on that money that you borrow. So you can borrow from, you know, as I said, family and friends, and you agree a rate with them that they're happy with. And at the moment, the money in the bank is getting, I think I had a letter yesterday or the day before saying, we're really pleased to be telling you that an interest rate change is happening in January and you'll be getting 0%. So I was really happy to have that. Of course I wasn't, but you know, I do invest in property as well, so I get a decent return on that, and it is much higher than 0%. So I'm happy, you know, and those are generally short-term projects. So I think you have to be a little bit careful when you're doing that. But once you get into it and you're happy to do it, then lots of people do it. Lots of investors do that. So that's really good. Yeah, so you know, once you've got your own property, then you can over time remortgage that if it's on a mortgage, and then you can get some money back out of it, and then you can just start again. It's what a lot of people do, you know.
Yeah,
so you haven't got to find another big lump sum. It's there already. And we have one which this year we were supposed to remortgage it. It's been delayed a little bit, but we've had it 3 years, and we'll be taking 25-30 grand out. So we can then use that as a deposit on something else, which is really helpful.